To a developing story, police say an argument over food spending led to a stabbing at a home in central El Paso. The alleged incident happened Saturday night at a home located on Truman Avenue, that's near Dyer. Investigators say the offender, who has not been identified just yet, gave his victim his food stamp card. According to EPPD, an argument ensued when the victim spent more money than the offender had allowed. Police say it all led to a physical fight with the offender stabbing the victim. He's a monster. That's how the Hernando County Sheriff's Office describes this man, accused of sexual battery and production of child porn. Investigators say he was in several counties across the state. We're showing you the mugshot of Nathan Douglas Holmberg because investigators fear there are more victims in this case. The Hernando County Sheriff's Office says after getting a tip, they started looking into Holmberg's past, and a search of his cell phone showed there were at least 8 victims in this case. Investigators say Holmberg was prowling in several counties, including Hernando, Pasco, Pinellas, and the Flagler-Jacksonville area. More than 600 images and videos of child sexual abuse were found on his phone, and more than 50 depicted capital sexual battery. The Hernando County Sheriff's Office says Holmberg groomed victims who were ages 3 to 10 years old, and he was arrested on capital sexual battery in the Jacksonville area back in 2012.
My detective said that the arrest affidavit read almost verbatim to what they saw on the video that was brought in by the Good Samaritan. Unfortunately, there could be a lot of reasons for this. Maybe there wasn't much evidence in the case, but unfortunately, what he ultimately ended up pleading guilty to was child abuse.
After that, the Hernando County Sheriff's Office says Holmberg was sentenced to 5 years probation and was not designated as a sexual predator. Now, investigators say when they searched Holmberg's home, they found another 30 devices they now have to comb through.
Felony charges for allegedly uploading child sexual abuse material to the internet. 27-year-old Bryson Sidney Leggett is scheduled to appear in court on Thursday, where he will enter initial pleas to 52 counts of sexual abuse of children. Each count includes a maximum 100-year term in state prison. According to court documents, the crimes happened between August and November of 2024. Leggett has been in the Butte jail since June 7th. His bond is set at $1 million.
An update from Ravalli County on the shooting that left one person dead south of Hamilton on Tuesday. We now know the suspect's identity. I reached out to Ravalli County Sheriff Steve Holton, who confirmed 55-year-old Scott Paredes was arrested after the incident. Paredes is charged with 1 count of deliberate homicide and 1 count of assault with a weapon. An altercation happened between Paredes and the victim, and that's when Paredes brandished a firearm and shot the victim. That's according to the Ravalli County Sheriff's Office. The victim died from their injuries. I reached out to the Ravalli County Justice Court clerks, who tell me Paredes is set to appear in court on Thursday. I will provide updates on air and online once we receive court documents.
Who vanished just as he was about to face trial for a fatal DUI crash. He's back behind bars now. Authorities arrested him in South America and brought him back to the Bay Area, where they say he will face justice. Let's bring in Fox 13's Aaron Mesmer live at the Hillsborough County Courthouse tonight. Hi there, Aaron. I know you spoke with the father of one of the victims. What did he have to say about this?
Mark, he says the last day or so have been a roller coaster of emotions, but mostly he's relieved the man accused of killing his son is back in jail.
My first case is page 91, Joshua Roloff's.
Joshua Roloff's court hearing lasted less than 1 minute. That's a far cry from the 3 months of agony George Negrete says Roloff's caused his family while Roloff's was on the run from law enforcement.
It was heart-wrenching. It was just, it was unimaginable. It was a nightmare.
On Wednesday, investigators released dashboard camera video from inside Roloff's car as police say he drove drunk, going about 100 miles an hour down the Courtney Campbell Causeway in 2022. Roloff slammed into the back of a car, killing Christopher Caroli and George's son, Ricky Gongora.
He was jovial, you know. He always found a silver lining in any cloud.
George waited 3 years for Roloffs to go to trial, which was set to happen in April, but Roloffs was a no-show. Authorities now say he took off and left the country. George says the wait for answers was gut-wrenching.
Crying during the day, praying at night, that justice would be served, that he would be found.
That happened this month. Police say Roloffs, a former Polk County deputy, ended up in Colombia, where federal agents tracked him down and brought him back to Tampa this week.
For him to have gone all the way to Colombia shows to me how desperate he was.
That could mean more than 100 years in state prison, according to Hillsborough State Attorney Susie Lopez.
This is something that is just so incredibly brazen and he's not accepting responsibility.
Lopez also revealed something else about Roloff's time in Colombia.
He was living in a luxury resort, and he was out there living his life.
I hope he had 3.5 months to last him another 100 years.
This father says that's nothing compared to the time he'll never get to spend with his son.
I hope Josh thinks about that every day when he's staring at those four walls in his prison cell.
Yeah, Roloffs initially could have faced up to 28 years in prison, but again, instead, he could face up to 100 years or more. He is due back in court tomorrow morning. Live in
Relief setting in for the family of a Columbus City School art teacher. Bail for her boyfriend, Jason Palmer, who's accused of killing her, set at $10 million. Palmer remains silent as details of Rachel Prince's final moments were read aloud.
Miss Prince was observed lying on the concrete sidewalk with the defendant on top of her. The defendant then picked Miss Prince up and carried and dragged her into the apartment.
Rachel leaves behind 2 young children.
When I get to go home and tell them that he's not getting out and that they actually are really safe, they're going to be really, really relieved.
Court documents reveal a pattern of violent behavior. In November 2023, Rachel and her kids huddled behind a bed, and police saw visible red marks around Rachel's entire neck. Palmer was found guilty of aggravated menacing, put on probation, and ordered to stay away from Rachel and her kids until May of this year. However, according to court records, Palmer violated the agreement 8 times.
When we see those violations, yes, there need to be a different level of consequence there to keep people safe.
In September 2024, records say Palmer attempted to suffocate Rachel 3 separate times and kicked her in the head. According to the prosecutor's office, the third-degree felony charge of strangulation was dropped when he pled guilty to misdemeanor domestic violence.
We hear, why didn't she just leave all the time? And if it was as easy to do as it is to ask, people would do it. These are people who loved each other at one point in time. And survivors often minimize what they've experienced until they realize they're looking at a lethal risk.
Now the focus turns to Rachel's kids and getting justice for her death. Palmer's next date in court is July 25th.
Unfortunately, Rachel's bleeding heart on her sleeve got her killed. But she was one of those people that never gave up hope on anyone.
On your side in Columbus, I'm Kirsten Lindquist, ABC 6 News.
News of that heartbreak here at noon. The Kansas City, Kansas community mourning the death of a law enforcement officer yet again. KCK police officer Hunter Simoncic died in the line of duty earlier this morning.
Here's what we know about what led up to Officer Simoncic's death. KCKPD responding to the sound of gunshots near 77th and Everett just before midnight. When officers got there, they found the suspect armed inside of a car. That suspect drove off, ultimately heading east on State Avenue. That's where Officer Simoncic was deploying stop sticks near Campus Boulevard from the median of the road. That suspect drove onto the median, hitting the officer. The suspect continued on, crashing his vehicle about 2.5 miles later near 65th and Caw Drive.
And we want to show you the suspect. Police tell us 31-year-old Dennis Mitchell is in custody. He faces multiple charges, including vehicular homicide and fleeing police. And we have our teams spread across Kansas City, Kansas to bring you the very latest. We begin with KCTV5's Gabby Luma on what led to this morning's incident and what we know so far.
Yeah, Bill, Carolina, just a devastating morning here in KCK as yet another officer has died in the line of duty. Officer Simoncic was responding to a call of shots fired this morning near that KCK community college campus. That's where they found Dennis Mitchell III, that suspect, unconscious in his truck. He then woke up and drove away, leaving those officers on that chase. Now, again, just an unimaginable tragedy here. An emotional press conference today as the department and community begin to mourn the life of 26-year-old Simoncic. Mayor Gardner of KCK calling Simoncic a hero, but continued in detailing the act as, quote, senseless and unnecessary.